So today's topic, digital health tech innovation, is the 8th workshop in a row that we have had exploring different topics that are occupying entrepreneurs' minds around campus at MIT, in ILP member companies, and obviously in startups around campus. I think healthcare, more than any field, exemplifies not just, I think, a market opportunity, but it is this new generation coming in, and some of us are actually a little older than my daughter there, but we want some changes, and we see an opportunity for changes. Somewhat with technology, and some are more low-tech, but I think you'll also note throughout the day that some of the changes are complicated to get underway. So we'll explore all of that. The startup ecosystem, as you know, here at MIT is very rich. We have several representatives from the faculty, sort of serial co-founders here today. We'll have one come up in a minute. There are plenty of companies spun out every year. A lot of them don't look like this. These are the companies we have worked with so far in the Startup Exchange initiative. You'll see that there are about 90 health tech or healthcare companies already in our database. But if you look over to this side, you see that we have almost 400 IT companies. And I wouldn't really think that there's even one among those IT companies that hasn't had a healthcare thought in their mind, if they're rational businessmen, as many people are here. So I think we have a very rich ecosystem to present to you here today. We haven't brought 1,000 startups, but we are very close. Just to give you a snapshot of people who didn't make it to the stage today, I always bring up Continuous Pharmaceuticals. It's just an interesting example of how the entire pharma business for a long time was very happy with it taking 200 days to produce pills, and then these guys are saying it only needs to take 2 days. Typical MIT approach. Believe it or not, this is a robot. You know, when the Media Lab gets to design a robot, it does not look like a robot at all. It actually looks much more like a human being, or as I prefer to look at it, a very high-end speaker. So this is, you know, a robot that actually senses you and can look at your face expressions. Luminoso, you know, on the IT side, they are also heavily into health tech, analyzing any kind of data. Massive amounts of customer data, massive amounts of Twitter messages, anything you'd like is being analyzed. It's a spin out here on campus. Numitra, they have been a speaker. Here's a stress watch that measured things that just across the bridge they weren't measuring for 30 years, spiking more than 100 times more than traditional stress research could measure. Hakuna, I believe they're in the room. You'll hear more from them. Another spin on a very, very exciting opportunity in senior care. Atlas 5D, I think they're here as well. Smart sensors for independent living. In short, let me give the word to Sheri Brodeur, who's going to say a few words on the Industrial Liaison program and essentially what we are here to give you today and a little bit about why we have this startup initiative. Sheri.
So I'll watch my watch because I know Trond keeps really good time at these events. Again, as Trond said, I'm Sheri Brodeur. I'm Associate Director here in the MIT Industrial Liaison Program. And I want to welcome you to our event today, which is exploring opportunities to connect the healthcare industry to the digital technology. I think it's a really exciting space and really glad you could all make it. We at the Industrial Liaison Program have always worked to connect startups to the corporate members, which we have about 227, I think, last count. So that's always been a focus for us because that's where the commercialization is ready to happen. So that interface has always been extremely important to us at the Industrial Liaison Program, and it's only become more so as this innovation community has just exploded around us. So as Trond mentioned, there's about 1,000, I don't know how many, 1,000 plus startups in proximity to the MIT ecosystem. So helping corporate members connect into that very rich group of companies is very important to us. So with that, instead of the informal way that we used to make the connections, about 18 months ago, we brought Trond on board, who's done a fabulous job helping us set up the Startup Exchange, which started as a database that's a web-based database that's looking to curate and make sense of the startup community around here. So it's just as he showed you the 1,000 startups. We have Lisa over here that's been wonderful helping us call them and make sure the information is updated. So for those that are outside the community, even those of us that are inside the community, it's a way to have some kind of sensical picture of actually what's going on around us here at MIT, because it's really been a fabulous, my background, I am from worked in Silicon Valley most of my career, so I think the depth and breadth of the startups here is just amazing. With that said, we've done, around this database, what we've done is set up these events to build a community, because it's not only about going onto a website and the digital interface, it's also about how do we connect the community together. So this is the first this year in a series that continues from last year of events where we bring academia, startups, and corporations together to talk about the exciting things that are happening in spaces of interest. So this is our digital health one, following on from the digital health conference we had last week. Next week, next month in October, we'll have one around nanotechnology. We are piloting our first big startup conference, which is a full-day event which will be December 1st in the Media Lab. So invite you all to that. And then we're actually looking at doing some regional events, with our first one being in San Francisco in January. So with that, that's a little background on Startup Exchange. Please feel free to ask us if you have questions.